Why I refer to God as he and him. This is going to be a little bit controversial, but I'm up for it. Your assumption might be that I'm pointing to some kind of man in the sky, right? That must be your assumption right now. And I totally get you, because I believe the same thing as an atheist. I was like, I need proof that he exists, that God is a man, for me to say he and for me to believe in God whatsoever. But I am of the fundamental belief that there's no such thing as believing in God, in he and in him. If you only believe in God, him, you only have a theoretical and imaginative relationship with God. Just like you would say, I believe in Santa Claus. Like, it won't get you into a relationship with him, you know? You can only believe in something so far, but to know something is very different. To know something is to have a relationship with God. Hi, love it. How are you? So you can only know God through experience, and you got to let yourself be in the presence of God and to allow him to move you. But why am I referring to God as he, and why am I referring to God as him? I'll get to that. But his presence is very penetrative, is very masculine, is very loving at the same time. And it's an energy that really moves you into service, moves you into selflessness, moves you into contribution. God has this, again, penetrative energy, this masculine energy, it's very warm energy as well. And when you feel God, you know that he is the authority of your life. It doesn't mean that you don't have a say in your life, because you do through the connection with God, because you breathe. You have life force flowing through you and to you at all times right now, right? As long as you breathe, you're in connection with him. And even when you depart from this earth, you will be in connection with God, because it's an eternal spiritual bond. But when you see God in this way, right, you obey. You learn to lean out of your own way and trust in his ways. When things are not going according to your will, you still have peace. You still can have joy. You can still remain trustful in him, in God, right? I've come to discover, actually, through my relationship and being able to refer to God as he and him, that one of the main reasons why I had such a resistance to connect to God as he and him was actually at a point in my life where I had masculine wounds, so to speak. Like, I had a hard time relating to my own dad. So if I am going to have a hard relationship with my dad and basically have wounds in and around my own physical earthly father, then of course I'm going to be resistant to the idea that God is he and him. Now, to me, again, I want to be very clear here. I don't think of God as a man in the sky. I think of God as this loving energy. And to me, again, it's masculine, it's penetrative, it's loving, it has direction. It has an overarching picture of everything and everyone's life path, right? So I can surrender and relax into him. And I've come to discover this, that I really can only have a depth in the relationship with God to the extent that I myself can relax, right? how are you going to fully develop this relationship in God if you're constantly trying to control things? Because you don't let any space and room for there to be this relationship with the overarching power, right? So being able to establish that is also something that I want to get really clear on. Like, to what degree do you allow yourself to relax into the all-knowing power that there is? So God really humbles you, and he releases the pride that you hold of yourself and your life, and really makes you feel that there's a larger hand at play. And I've come to discover this relationship with God, and begun referring to God not as the universe and not as it, but as him and he. Specifically, also because I've had these experiences, either experiences where I have kind of been forced into relaxation, or forced, or kind of like intentionally gone into relaxation. It's in that way that I've established that relationship. Do you see what I mean? So let's say through the recovery and the accident and everything, you just realize that there is a larger hand at play. And if you come from this paradigm of, let's say, law of attraction and new age spirituality, like, you can really be hard on yourself. You can be really brutal with yourself. You can say things like, I manifested this, right? But truly, are we going to be that hard on ourselves? I came to discover through that again, there is a larger hand at play, and I trust and I have faith that this is for a greater reason. It's not just because I manifested this, because it's not just me and I. There's something beyond me that really has an influence on the direction of my life. And when you can relax into that, it's as if you can actually become more of what he wanted you to be, because you allow yourself to be more of a vessel and a channel to be created through according to him. So this is why I refer to God as he and him. And I really encourage you to sit with this. If you have resistance to this concept that God is he, and you have resistance to saying him, then look at the relationship with your own father, your own physical father. And once you heal that and come to forgiveness with the relationship with your own earthly dad, whether you had one in the physical or not, then once you can really begin healing that, it's as if it becomes easier to connect with the father of us all, right? The overarching power that has this perspective over all of us, and is going to be there for all of us. I really have also come to discover, before I end now, I really want to touch upon an experience that I had as I worked in both a children's recovery hospital in South Africa, and also I worked in a nursery home for elderly people. And one thing that I came to discover, like, when you see these things, both young kids who don't have their earthly mom and dad with them, and that might have sickness and illness to deal with, that I saw in South Africa, and when you see the sick and elderly as well at the end of their lives, guess what? I saw them all as children. Like, I totally get now why there's this saying that we are his children. We are the children of God. Like, if you don't have a mom or don't have a physical dad, in this physical realm, and at the end of your life, you literally look like you're becoming more of a child again, because you're your body, your physical body is like deteriorating. It makes so much sense to me why it is that we are the children of God. And do we really have to go through and grow through our lives in this physical realm to figure that out? Do we really have to come to the end of our lives to know that we are not the only one that is going to have the direction of our lives? Or can we choose to begin trusting that it's not just our way? It's the overarching God's way too. And it's funny because when you lean into that relationship, you can begin to tune in and have this nearly like auditory connection to God, where you can see that your way and his way begin merging and coming together. That's when real, true, meaningful contribution and creation can come through. So with that said, that was what I had on why I refer to God as he and him, and why I am totally seeing this perspective as true now, and why I actually feel like this allows me to move through life and grow through life in a more relaxed state of being, and just become this, again, channel for him to come through. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence, and I'm looking forward to another stream tomorrow. I am praying for you, and I'm praying that God would reveal himself to you in his way. And I know that it's going to be unique to you and your path and your timing, because ultimately it's not just your timing, it's his timing, and he knows at what point he will really become active in you and work through you. And just know that you are exactly where you are meant to be right now, and allow that to really penetrate into you so that you can come to relax in where you are, because it is in that state of relaxation that you can surrender and become more of what he wanted you to be, to work through you. With so much love. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I love you so much.